Hey guys, welcome to Dad Casual, where full-time dads and casual gamers come together to talk about everything about the games we wish we had more time to play. Thanks for being here. It is episode 35, and we took last week off because Houston went on vacation, and Press and I, frankly, are nothing without him.
Zero.
We're a shell of empty content. But the content is back because Houston has returned, and we all got Preston here too. What's going on, guys?
I'm very flattered, but I mean, I also knew that, so here we are.
That makes sense.
Good to be back. That's what I meant. That's what I meant to say. Good to be back.
Good to be back.
Yeah, we tried to call in to Houston to let him know we had a problem. What's up, guys? Houston, tell us who you got. Let's open up, man. Tell us about how's your vacation?
Yeah, it was great. So the impetus for this vacation was my wife ran the Nashville Rock and Roll Half Marathon. There's also a full, but she decided to do the half because we wanted to kind of make it. She didn't want to be completely dead after, so we could still kind of enjoy the city.
Tansy.
My wife is a now seasoned marathoner. She's run quite a few races now. And that's just something she likes to do. So whenever we have the opportunity to do it, we did that. And we went to stay with friends. So it wasn't too expensive, except all the money that we saved on a hotel, we spent definitely twice as much on like food because there's a ton of good coffee and restaurants in Nashville. Got my hot chicken fix.
Nice.
Just some good Southern food. Lots of amazing coffee, the whole nine. It was great. Also, just decided to spend a few $100s on fixing my car while we were there. So that was, always fun. We had
you decided to do that?
Decided to, yeah. I really planned for my wheel bearing to break on our car on the way there. So
that's good planning.
You did it.
Oh man,
yeah.
Did she win the race?
She didn't win, but she did get in like the upper 30% of her like age range, which is pretty impressive for a 30,000 person race. So they were like tens of thousands of people that were slower than her, which is kind of cool.
Makes sense.
There's nothing says rock and roll like diligent, determined training that requires like so much focus. Totally rock and roll. Totally. That's what I think of. People waking up early in the morning to run.
Yeah,
eating, for sure.
Drinking healthy. Yeah.
It's just hilarious to me. I'm like, that's rock and roll is the opposite of running 26 miles.
Yeah. Even 13. I mean, I couldn't do that.
No, I've picked up exercising, and I've just now after 2 months gotten to 3 miles on the regular.
Yeah.
I don't get marathon runners. I don't get it.
You said that the other day when we were traveling somewhere. You were like, I just don't understand it.
Same. I could maybe run 2 miles, and that would be like really pushing it for me right now.
It is pushing it. And every time I'm like, when I finish, like even when I first started, I was only doing a mile, and I was like, that was a great workout.
I am done.
I'm good. I'm exhausted. Now, maybe there's a point if you keep going that you're like, no, you have to run that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not running unless something's chasing me.
And why stop at 26,
I mean, you don't. There's people that run hundreds, right?
Yeah. My wife's dad has run a plus 200-mile race before. A couple of them, I think.
Nope. I'm good.
It's like don't stop moving for like 48 hours. It's crazy.
There's a guy who died after one of those. So no.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, other than that, the trip was great. We, so like I said, we had a bunch of good food. We got some hot chicken, which was a first for me.
What's special about hot chicken as opposed to just like Louisiana, buffalo chicken?
It kind of has its own thing going on. It's like a lot of cayenne spice. It's really buttery. It's more than just a hot wing. Like it's kind of its own genre of spice. And it like if you don't get the one that kills you, it actually tastes really good too. So I enjoyed myself. My wife got the almost kill you level of spice, and she regretted it. So
yeah,
that was really funny. I have tons of pictures of like before and after when her face like turns red and she starts like crying and stuff. It's great.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Spousal death of spouse fun.
Yeah, I also played since it's Music City. I'm a guitar player. Definitely went to all the cool guitar spots. Went to Carter Vintage. Went to Gren Guitars. Went to the Gibson garage is what they called it. Played a few dozen $1,000 guitars.
Nice.
So that was really, really fun. Visited I was showing you guys earlier, showed on the camera right here. I visited Third Man Records, which is Jack White's label.
That's cool.
And he has like his home base in Nashville. He has another one in Detroit, and I think another one in London.
You get any cool swag?
Yeah, I got a shirt, got a pen, got that sticker.
Nice.
Cool.
They had this
That's
really
awesome.
cool setup where like they had a guitar with like all of his pedals and stuff, like a kind of a replica of his board, and you could like jam along to like some tracks and stuff, and it was really cool.
That's awesome.
So Nashville, you'd recommend as a good tourist city.
Very good tourist city. I don't even think it's underrated. I think it's just awesome. Tons of good food, good coffee, good music, good sights.
We've done Memphis, and it was like I could tell it was like we live in Baton Rouge, and like it's Baton Rouge is to New Orleans. Like I want to go to actual Nashville. I think that sounds pretty rad.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely would recommend it.
Cool, man. Preston, what have you been up to, man?
Just working. We've been
Not going to Nashville?
No, not going to Nashville. Just working, man.
Just working.
Catching
me
up on
too.
some work and just back in the groove after a week off with Rhett being off of school and
That's right. Yeah, we had the same thing with we had an Easter break of school, and I was so glad that they went back.
Same.
Yeah, man. Well,
I feel that.
have you guys got any video game time in? Either one of you, including you, Houston? I don't know, since with you being gone.
A little bit. So I did bring my Switch, but it needed a software update, and I didn't have great Wi-Fi where I was, and so I did that. It took its sweet time, and I only really got to play like a little bit of. I jumped back into Super Mario Odyssey for like a minute or two, like
so great.
So yeah, I mean that's an exaggeration. It was a little bit, but I played that, and then before I left, Preston and I want to talk about this. I played a little bit of Disney Speedstorm. There's that 2-hour trial on PlayStation Plus right now.
Oh, cool.
So I did jump into that for about an hour. I didn't max out the whole 2-hour thing, but yeah, Preston, if you wanted to get into that, we can definitely chat about our thoughts because I know we have some pretty differing opinions.
So you guys both played the trial. You haven't actually played the full game, but
Correct.
The trial is the full game. It's just limited, right?
to 2 hours. Yeah.
Correct. Oh, cool.
And I hit the 2 hours.
I'm curious. Do you guys feel after? Oh, you hit the full 2 hours.
Yeah, I played full 2 hours, and it was like, you're done. And I was like, I got to buy this game. I just haven't done it yet.
Do you feel? Oh, that's good. Do you feel like the full 2 hours gave you a good representation of what the full game is like?
I think so. I think Houston, you brought this up before the show about a couple of different reviews, and I would say I would like to see more maps. That would be cool. But I had a blast playing, and just like on I think on Mario Kart on the Switch, you can enable like little kid mode or whatever it's called, where you can just give your kid a controller.
Yeah, like adaptive steering or whatever.
Yeah. Adaptive steering and adaptive speed.
Gotcha.
So Rhett thought that was the coolest thing.
On Mario Kart, they give you 3 options, actually. They give you one where it won't let you fall off. Like it'll keep you from going off an edge if there's an edge. And then it has one that's like always hold down gas. So the kid doesn't have to actually hold the gas down the whole time.
Right.
And then there's one that's like you said, it'll like, I think it is. It's like an adaptive steer. Like it'll even slow down for you if you need to or whatever. Like, so is it advanced like that? Do you think? You feel like I know you said your kid played.
Rhett was able to play, and I didn't ever have to like turn him around or anything. So
that's cool.
I think it seemed to work, and he thought it was hilarious, and he knew the characters, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I think it has a lot going for it. My two biggest things is one, it's a cartoon like mascot racer, which is what Mario Kart is. And to me, it doesn't feel quite as sharp. I think Mario Kart is it's so well tuned because it's a 20-plus-year-old franchise now that they've just had the time to like really hone it in. But this one didn't feel bad. And some of the reviews, like I would agree with that, especially the IG one. Like they have like their racing guy that does all the racing reviews, and he agrees that it's not a terrible feeling racer. I thought some of the power ups were a little lackluster compared to Mario Kart as well. But my biggest gripe, and I think his as well, and a couple of other reviews, is that it has the freemium
Mm-hmm.
pay to win
Oh.
multi currency add on vibe to it across the
No.
entire game.
Wait, is it
And
a vibe or is that's real? Like
it's
that's
it's real.
real.
Yeah, vibe's probably a bad word. There is an overlay of different currencies on every screen,
Mm-hmm.
and multitudes of things that you need to upgrade or have the option to upgrade. I don't think it's necessarily pay to win, although it kind of feels like that. I didn't dive enough
but there
into it
are
to see
paid
that.
upgrades in a paid currency.
So I didn't see any actual money to upgrade. You could get skins and stuff in the settings, but to upgrade you had to get their other in-game currency, which I don't know if you can buy or not.
I want to say you can buy it, but it's still earnable.
Yeah.
It just gets you to the endpoint faster, I believe. I don't think you can ever buy your way to be ultimately a faster vehicle.
Right.
But it just doesn't feel like a game that you would actually pay money for. And I think the guy in the review was saying, I didn't know this about it. It is a paid preview for now, and it will become free to play later this year.
Whoa. Okay.
And so the people that pay for it now just essentially get early access, but then you can still pay more as part of the freemium
Okay.
model
Interesting.
to get those upgrades and skins and
And
what have you.
it's not a full price game.
No, I think it's 40.
I think it was 30.
Is it? Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do know that it's not a full $60 or $70 though.
Yeah.
Correct. I'm reading it right now. It's not
That's
only
kind of cool.
can you pay to unlock characters faster,
Mm-hmm.
much faster apparently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a significant difference.
Yeah.
But then as well as this, those who pay for the game get into it earlier, giving them much more playtime before the official launch. They're calling the official launch is when it goes free to play.
When's
Now
that?
you can't. Hold on, I'll put it. You can't pay for boosts or items to use directly, but these new racers that you get do change the game, so you get access to them earlier without having to grind. You're given an advantage just because you can pick more characters at the moment.
Yeah, but even the
doesn't-
characters, though, how it works is those are upgradable.
Mm.
That's what I saw in the
Mhm.
game too. That you could pay to unlock Sully or Toy Story.
Yeah,
or
and do
whatever.
some of the characters have different attributes? Some characters have better acceleration or better weight,
Kind
like
of.
Mario Kart.
It's more like Fortnite, is what I gathered. It's a lot of just looks.
Okay.
If it's
But
just
every
skins
one,
and
but every one
cosmetics,
of
yeah.
them had different Mickey was at level 1 when I first started, or whoever was, and
Mhm.
then you moved up, and then you got to Donald, but for the demo, Donald was at level 15 or whatever, just out the gate. For
Yeah,
that, I don't know.
People are calling it pay to progress as opposed to pay to win.
Yeah,
Sure.
So the progression would be the new characters that are really fun that everybody wants to play, but now it's just you'd have to grind forever. And I think what's a bummer about that, even if it's not pay to win, is that kids want to play this game. They want to play as Mulan or as whoever, and it's that's a bummer for those kids. How it especially if there's a lot of kids that. Sure, there are the kids that have their parents' credit card, but there's a lot of kids that don't have that.
Yeah.
So
but that's the free to play world we're in, right?
well,
it
it's
sucks.
but at the moment it's not free to play. It's being pitched like a game you buy. I feel like if you pay, especially if you pay how much is it? Right? Is
30
it
bucks,
40 bucks?
40 bucks, something like
Yeah.
So it's a limited price right now, but still, yeah, that's weird. I'd play it though.
that.
I
It's
just-
a
that's-
blast.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think the theming's on point. They redid all the music, which is kind of cool. I thought that was actually probably the
Yes.
coolest part is that they did house remixes of Disney songs, which was fun to
I was
kind of bop to
listening.
while you're
Yeah,
driving.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is
That-
the Mickey Mickey. That
Mhm.
whole.
Is that on Spotify? I'm gonna look that up right now.
It's
That's my
awesome.
new jam right now.
It is. It's a bop.
Speed Storm.
Tell us if
Yeah.
it is.
Disney Speedstorm soundtrack.
There you go.
We'll link it in
OST,
the
baby.
description.
There's not enough.
We just got to remember.
I was say that's on you if we forget.
Yep.
This is from the closed beta
Nope.
test,
Then nope, not it.
Yeah.
but it's there. Anyway. Oh, is this
Cool.
it?
So yeah, that's
I don't
all
know.
I played in the past week.
Cool.
Is Speedstorm.
That dad's schedule.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to share. I've played a ton more of Sackboy's Big Adventure. I'm on the last world, I think now. There's only
Dang.
5. There's only 5 worlds. It's not like insane.
No wonder you're not getting any work done.
No, my kids have played the mess out of it. And so I've played with them and they love it. The game definitely is starting to show its flaws a little, where it has like repeat bosses and like not repeat, but like same boss, but barely a twist. And I'm like, lame. Like you're starting to show your flaws. However, every world has like 1 or 2 very cool, unique mechanics to it. Like the third world is an underwater world, and like they do the grapple hook, and that becomes a whole new thing. And the fourth world, you have a jetpack, and like there's some pretty fun, unique things in every world that, of course, are additive too, right? Like they build upon each other, and so the game really does get fun. And man, I like the challenge of it, and yeah, it's even getting to the point where like my kids are like, "Dad, I need help with this level because it's getting hard." Like, and I jump in and
Cool.
lay it down.
Show them how it's done.
As dads do. I've also played a lot of. Riley got back into Kirby and the Forgotten Land. He keeps asking me to play that with him.
Okay.
I forgot about that one.
It's almost very similar in like difficulty and age appropriateness as Sackboy, I would say. Like it's a little bit easier, I think, but still just as fun. Like the upgrades are so fun, and all the different powers and stuff that you can do as Kirby. It's fun.
That's awesome. He's 6 now? 5?
Riley turned 6 last week, and today is my oldest son's birthday. He just turned 9.
Whoa.
Well, happy birthday, Bond family.
It's been a birthday month for us. April. They both were born in April, so a week difference. Obviously, they're 3 years apart, but
Right.
a week as far as their
Your
birthday.
wife didn't have a baby 1 week after.
That would be Irish twins for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, some actual, I think, twins. I think there have been examples of someone giving birth and then stopping labor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh man, that's got to be miserable
Yeah.
to the mom for
Doesn't
sure.
sound fun.
I don't think that's kind of rare, I think.
We need to now have a. I know we keep saying we need to have these little like segments within podcasts, but we need like a little like splash screen that just says like dad facts or something like that with like a little sound effect every time we go into like these little tangents, if you will.
I should look up if that's a real thing before I like spout it out. I've heard that, but that also could be me saying I've heard that.
It seems plausible.
A homeless man on the street told me that once, and now I've been rolling with it for life. I'll ask my
you heard
wife
it here first. Maybe.
I will ask my wife if that's ever even possible. She is a labor and delivery nurse. So
There it is. She would know.
So it's been 2 weeks. So I want to jump into some news. There's some big news, some small news, some things that I think are interesting and funny. And the first one I want to start with, I wouldn't call it big news, but this thing broke the internet overnight. It came like an internet sensation. It was everywhere. And I'm talking about a game that released a gameplay trailer called Unrecord. They released an official early gameplay trailer. And Preston, if you want to pull this up, this is not footage or a cinematic
It's a game.
This is the game.
So they say, right?
So before we get into
I can read the quote
Yeah.
if you want.
Sure.
First. So first off, this video you're watching got 5.2 million views on IGN's YouTube channel, which is like they normally get a few thousand. Like it's a ton of views.
massive.
And this comes directly from IGN. They said the Unrecord gameplay came out earlier this week, and everyone's talking about how realistic it looks. It turns out there's actually an old build of the game floating around the internet from 2022 that shows off the concept version of the game. So we downloaded it to see if the game is legit or just an elaborate hoax. It turns out it is indeed real and one of the most realistic looking games we've seen.
That is insane.
It's kind of crazy. Like every once in a while, you can kind of like catch a texture of an object, like a little gas can or something on the side that looks
But
like
this
a video
here-
game asset. But yeah, it's
The night footage looked a little faker. The day footage is the like it's so.
Beautiful.
Or there was some blur there just now.
and it's the way the fisheye of the lens, like with the heavy vignetting and how it blooms whenever it like he gets shot at.
Yeah, it's
So-
crazy.
Somebody called the developer out on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, but I saw the video and now I can't find it. But they made the developer play the game in Unreal and screen cap that because they were like, "This isn't real." So
This is Unreal
he
5.
had to open up Unreal and show them that it's an actual
Play it in
game.
like quote unquote dev mode
yeah,
That's
in
wild.
engine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that doesn't look. The person
yeah,
looks video game.
especially
Yeah, yeah,
that falling animation.
Yeah,
But so much of it is so believable.
yeah. It's insane.
So here's my question for you guys that I was thinking about. You know, oftentimes, and I feel like we've said this, and this is said every generation of video games, I believe, that we've pretty much reached the peak of how good a video game can look. And everything from here on out is diminishing returns. You know, it might look a little, the refresh rate might get better, the frame rate, but it's not. And then something happens and we're like, whoa, okay, well, I didn't realize that, the environment looks amazing now. That can't get any better. Maybe,
Now it's
Do
all
you-
lighting. Yeah.
and when you see these moments are the moments that make you think like, oh,
Something new is possible.
our AAA games can look better. Like, this is a game that looks like it's from a body cam and looks hyper realistic of our real world now. But like, what about the fantasy games? What about like maybe they could look even more hyper realistic too? And how far? Where are we on the? Do you feel like that's Uncanny
it's-
Valley?
I think
do you
it's
think, or do you think
infinite.
that looks good?
Wait, do I
I-
think that looks good? What we
Like-
just saw?
Have you heard like the concept of Uncanny Valley of like it looks so real, but it looks off, like something's wrong? Or do you think that looked
Yeah.
authentically
Yeah.
real?
Like, are you saying like, do we want to push the envelope of realism to the point to where it's indistinguishable in games, or should we make games look like something that's not real but fantastical?
I mean, sure, I think the answer to that would be great, but I was more just asking like, can games look
Get
better?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
say
So-
infinitely, like that's possible.
Yeah. So
I guess I don't mean infinitely. I get what you mean by infinitely. Like, there's always going to be a marginal difference we can make. There always will be, probably. But man, it's so weird how our brain can trick us to make something seem real, and then when you actually see real, you're like, wait, never mind, that's real.
Yeah, I think some of the biggest advancements they're saying kind of like resolution isn't really going to get higher for a while. Like 4K is like a great like realm to live in and to play games in. But what we've seen recently is things pushing frame rates higher. So 60, 120 frames, even in PC land, like 240 frames, 350 frames and higher.
Right.
I think the next bastion is this kind of like hyper realism with like path trace lighting. And so like ray tracing is like a term that we all know. And then path tracing is kind of like the deluxe version of that. Whereas like the most recent versions of like Cyberpunk has like if you have a 40 series NVIDIA graphics card, you can do what's called path trace, which is like ultra ray tracing settings. And so I think like that in combination with games that can run up to 120 frames a second, like that's like the next echelon of like when that becomes normal, that's when like we're really going to start to see games really take off and look crazy. But the thing is right now, like this game looks incredible, but it's a very confined space and a very small level.
Yeah.
And so they had a lot of extra time to make that one level look really, really special.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you take a game like GTA or Spider-Man or
Sure.
Hogwarts Legacy that have these massive open worlds, it's going to take a team of 1,000 people 1,000 times longer to make it on the same level of fidelity.
What's interesting too about lighting, you were talking about lighting, and I do think it's a big part of what makes that trailer looks realistic. But also, like, It just depends on what you want, right? Like sometimes realistic isn't what the person's going for. I think of all those games that almost have you remember the J.J. Abrams Star Trek that had like light leaks in every
Everywhere.
frame? I'm like, that's not real. Like you don't go outside in the morning and have just these crazy
It's cool.
refracted prism light just hitting you from 18
Every
different
angles.
directions.
Yeah.
But like I've played games that is happening all the time.
And to go back to Cyberpunk, that's what that is. Like they have like that anamorphic, like crazy flare every time there's a light in the frame.
Yeah, but like that's a style as opposed to a realism. Well, the game also has a realistic flair to it, but it just depends, right? Like it just like I think Ghost of Tsushima would be a great example of like,
oh yeah,
this isn't supposed to look like if you walked into Japan today, or even then, it's supposed to be.
The colors are so wild.
It's the cinematic representation of what's like more what cinema depicted Japan as, like during the classic movies. Is the way that I see that game. It's just an interesting. It's just so
games give us the ability to take the best version of any instance and just present it to you all the time.
Yeah.
So like the most beautiful sunsets, the craziest rainstorms, like all of that stuff all at once. And so, I definitely think there's a place for these like hyper realistic games like Unrecord, but then there's also a place to like make Final Fantasy 20 like the most crazy like fantasy subset you've ever seen that looks like an Illumination movie.
I guess too, the next question would be, what are the mediums, right? Like we're playing this on a console, and I know everything is what we're talking about is like some form of console, whether it's PC, but I'm thinking VR, like with sound and feel, like that next level too is coming, and that will be a whole nother gaming experience, I think.
Yeah. And it really makes you think, like, every time a console comes out, people just ask this question. They say, like, why do I really need a console? Is it really going to be that much better? Why do we need a PS6 and Xbox, whatever Xbox calls their thing?
Xbox
and
One,
I'm like,
XXX.
like, guys, like, it clearly can get better. And it never is at the launch of the console that you see the amazing games, because, like we've talked about before, the games being developed when the console PS5 first comes out are still coming out on PS4 also. So those games have to make compromises. And now we're starting to see games that are like, nope, this is next gen console or PC only.
Yep.
None of that old crap from the last decade. And we start to see like, oh,
and we're just starting to see that. Like I think like Final Fantasy 16 like coming out this summer is like one of the first ones that's really going to showcase what the PS5 can do, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll know the extent of the PS5 in like 6 more years. You know what I mean? Like we'll be like, oh, we're getting ready for PS6. The PS5 has been pushed to its limit. Like there won't be any, because that's just what developers are going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking on like the end of the console generation, like I can't wait to see what Xbox does, because like their first party games are like, there's like 4 of them right now, like good ones.
I've been saying that for like years. I'm like, Xbox is gonna have its heyday any moment.
Like they're gonna have to do another Halo before that console dies. They're gonna have to, I don't know, what other first party IPs do they have? Oh, the Indiana Jones. That's probably gonna be a really good one to kind of see what it's gonna be capable of.
I hope so.
Yeah, let's go ahead and transition right into. I actually have some Xbox news, and then we'll do some PlayStation news right after that. Microsoft is struggling to sell Xboxes again. This is from Ethan Gach at Kotaku. Xbox is down 30% compared to last year. They're taking a nosedive in next-gen hardware sales that came despite big holiday discounts, like the temporary $50 price cut to the Series S that this guy took advantage of. It was no doubt driven in large part by the fact that Microsoft's lineup of first-party exclusives has been anemic. So yeah, Houston, like you're saying, you think Xbox is
done,
leaving something to be desired?
Absolutely, and the Starfield getting delayed was such a big kick to that. I think
Yeah.
because that's the game that everybody's been waiting on, at least for Xbox. Anything from Bethesda, it's the next Oblivion or Elder Scrolls. I mean, like what's after Skyrim. Like so, those two games are going to be some of the biggest ones. But yes, first party, triple quad A exclusives is what the Xbox family is missing right now, because they have Game Pass. They have tons of indies.
I mean, to be honest, a game you're missing. Next week, a Bethesda AAA first-party game for Xbox, Redfall, comes out.
That's true.
Very soon, a game by that studio. Well, not that studio. I'm sorry, that publisher, which is now owned by Xbox.
Let's see
it's
how
coming
good
out.
it is, right?
Is that now? You are correct. It is not like GTA or like it's not that that level of a game. Like
Quadruple
it's Starfield is a big deal. Like
for quad A,
yeah.
You'd almost call that quad, and that's fair.
But like PlayStation has, like we just had God of War Ragnarok. We have Spider-Man 2
fall.
Yeah, we have Spider-Man 2 coming out this fall. We have Final Fantasy 16 coming out. We have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth coming out.
All on new consoles too. Like,
and Square Enix is not a first-party developer. They just exclusively make for PlayStation.
But they do exclusive releases. Yeah, so it's just as good.
That's an interesting one, right? Like, why does Square Enix, as an independent developer, only make for one console? That's very interesting.
Because they're grooming themselves to be bought.
I think that's going to happen.
I said the quiet part out loud. Sorry.
Whoa. See, the problem is you keep the inside thoughts on the inside and you let the outside thoughts come on the outside.
No, everybody's been saying that. I think it's going to happen. Maybe not this year.
That for 20 years.
No, not 20 years.
It's got to be close.
I think the catalyst is the Activision Blizzard merger that is still yet to be completed. But
we'll see.
That's going to kick Sony in the butt to do something. And I think the most obvious something is to purchase Square Enix.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think Xbox, this is still their years. They still own Obsidian, which is come out to make Avowed this year. It's supposed to come out. We'll see. There's rumors that they're also going to acquire Team Cherry, which makes the Hollow Knight games. There's rumors like there are a lot of rumors out there. But you are correct. It's like Xbox for years, literal years, keeps buying all these developers. And then I'm like, where are the games? Like, they bought them. Where are the announcements?
What about their self-proclaimed Quad A studio, The Initiative? Like their in-house studio, the Microsoft studio, The Initiative. They're supposed to be working on the next. They're remaking. I almost said Horizon. It's not Horizon. What's it called?
Something. I'm not sure.
Give us details.
Hold on.
Dawn.
I'm gonna look this up.
Killzone? No, that's PlayStation. I don't know what you're thinking.
Y'all keep talking. I'll find it.
Couldn't tell you. I don't know. And some people are out there like, "Oh, they came out with tons of exclusives. They came out with Psychonauts, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but I would equate like Psychonauts to be on the same level as maybe the Little Big Planets, and I'm like, those are exciting for PlayStation, but they're not their Quad A God of Wars. Like, they're not their Last of Us Part 2s. They're not like the games that PlayStation comes out with. I still feel like Ghost of Tsushima. You can think almost every single year there is a new IP Quad A game that came out, at least one a year, and it's giant.
Yeah,
Xbox isn't doing that.
Perfect Dark is the game. I looked it up. That they are working on a Perfect Dark remake.
Yeah, they own Rare. That might be the biggest drop ball ever in acquired publishers and studios. Rare was a monster. Look at all the stuff Nintendo keeps putting out. These like Rare, like classic. They just did the GoldenEye one. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Where's Banjo-Kazooie? Where's like, there's so many Rare games that were.
Listen, they could compete with Tears of the Kingdom if they re-release Nuts and Bolts.
Stop. It's not Nuts and Bolts we want. It's Banjo 3. We want Banjo 3.
It is Banjo 3. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Like a Mario Odyssey competitor.
Do you remember when they dropped the character announcement for Banjo being in Super Smash Brothers? The internet was on fire. It was so exciting, but clearly the usual rule is if something that has that much of a hit fandom, even if it's niche, it's gonna come back. Like I still believe that Knights of the Old Republic, despite it losing its developer, will get a full-fledged remake. Just win, right?
You're hoping.
No, I believe that it could take 100 years, but it will happen. Because things that are popular, if there's demand and people can make money, they're going to do it. It'll happen.
You heard it here. The PlayStation 25 will have the KOTOR remake.
There it is.
I hope it's not that long. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to some PlayStation action. Speaking of PlayStation coming out with a fun announcement, Humanity, the game, is available day one as a PlayStation Plus game catalog title out May 16. This is for PlayStation Plus Extra. This is not for the essential tier, but for Extra and above, which is premium. Mark McDonald at PlayStation Blog says, in Humanity, you control that glowing Shiba Inu, placing commands on the ground for a giant marching horde of people to follow. Make them turn, jump, float through the air, swim, climb, etc., all to reach the goal or goals in each stage. The game gradually introduces these mechanics and more, combining them with each other and new elements to ramp up the challenge the further you go.
Whoa.
So Lemmings, but like a modern crazy take on Lemmings.
Yeah, this looks so smart.
I love a puzzle game.
It looks look at the lightsabers. What?
Yeah, so they did all that extra like visual stuff that they didn't necessarily have to maintain the gameplay, and just made it ridiculous and made it very eye-catching. And so I think this is going to be a big hit, especially if it's just on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
I'm definitely playing this.
I want to play it.
Oh,
it looks incredible.
It looks like you can create your own too.
Oh, you can. And it also kind of has a totally accurate battle simulator.
It does.
Vibe.
That's what I was thinking it was.
Yeah, I saw the lightsaber battles. And I was like, that's definitely totally accurate.
You can make
battle simulator. I saw the Men in Black people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It looks cool. I'm in. I mean,
let's play.
I love that it starts simple, still weird, but simple, and then it just escalates to like they're fighting a giant made out of people.
It looks immensely weird.
Wait, you can play the limited time demo today.
Really?
Really?
That's all
right. Well, I guess I know what we're doing after this.
That's what this says right here. I did not know that.
It said limited time. When did it end?
It doesn't say.
Or does it mean that it's only like a 1 hour demo?
I'll look it up.
This was back in February.
Huh.
We missed this one.
Oh, well,
it's
it comes out soon.
May 16th. So.
Oh, very, very soon. So. Yeah. May 16th, you'll be able to play it if you're a PlayStation Plus.
The fate of all humanity is in your paws.
There it is.
I love the breed of dog, a Shiba Inu.
Yeah, you're going to make that money.
Very cute.
Speaking of PlayStation, they had some big news this week. I feel like this is giant news, but it's also still kind of vague, which is why it's a little further down our list. PlayStation is acquiring AAA multiplayer developer Firewalk Studios. This comes from Christopher Dring at GamesIndustry.biz. If the name Firewalk Studios sounds familiar, it's because Sony had already announced it would be publishing Firewalk's first game back in April 2021. It is the third dedicated live service games studio that PlayStation has acquired over the last 18 months, alongside Bungie and Haven Studios. The acquisition is part of PlayStation's push into live service games, with 10 projects currently in development.
Wow.
Okay.
It's hard to talk about because we don't know what the game is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We do know that Firewalk is a kind of amalgamation of other developers from what's that group called, Preston or Houston? We talked about this.
Probably Monsters.
Probably Monsters, which is like a bunch of developers from other esteemed studios.
Yeah.
But this is their first game. And I think it's interesting. They're doubling down on live service games.
Tripling even.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but what have they made?
10x, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did Resident Evil 4 remake.
No.
Firewalk? No.
Firewalk saying this is their first game, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, maybe people that work for Firewalk have done that, but it's not the same studio.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so like what live service projects does PlayStation currently have in development that we're aware of? So Bungie is obviously Destiny. So
Right.
Destiny 3 or continuation of Destiny 2.
Firewalk Studios is led by, and there's a bunch of names you can look it up: Tony Hsiu, Ryan Ellis, Elena Siegman, all of whom previously worked at Bungie. Everyone worked at Bungie, and they
Okay.
worked on titles like Destiny, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Mass Effect, and Halo.
There you
So
go.
they're all developers from lots of incredible
Who's
games.
developing the Last of Us multiplayer? Is that
That'd
the
been
same?
that's Naughty Dog, but I think
That's
they're in
Naughty Dog.
tandem with like a farm studio,
Mhm.
from what I heard. But it's being led by them.
Naughty Dog has increased its team size like tenfold. They're doing a lot more, and they're not only working on probably another The Last of Us and The Last of Us multiplayer only game that's supposed to be bigger than any project they've ever done, but they're also working on some unknown IP, something new. So
Yeah.
they got a lot going on right now.
Always exciting.
Yeah.
And
Their stuff's
prob-
amazing.
Maybe a Ratchet and Clank. I don't know.
That'd be cool. That honestly would be really fun. A Ratchet and Clank MMO or like some kind of live service shooter game,
Just
I
give
don't
me.
kind of Splatoon like.
I mean, they did Uncharted too, right?
I don't
Yes.
think Ratchet and Clank is what I meant just now.
What did you mean? But
Didn't-
I
did-
liked running with it.
Didn't they do Crash? Maybe it was Crash is that I'm thinking of.
Naughty
What
Dog,
game did Naughty Dog-
did do Crash?
Yeah,
They,
it was
they
Crash.
Did, they did Crash
They
Bandicoot.
were original developers of Crash.
That's what I meant to say.
I
I didn't
remember
mean
the
Ratchet and Clank.
the start of that. Now that you said that,
But Ratchet and Clank, yeah, that's the Spider-Man developers. Insomniac.
Play Crash Bandicoot inside of Uncharted 4.
You do.
It's the coolest thing.
It's pretty fun.
yes.
Yeah.
And if you win or lose, like what happens in the scene changes. I think.
I've never won. I've tried it like 5 times.
Well, it's a hard level, so
Very hard
What was
level.
the other little animal things they did? It was like Jack and
Jack and Daxter.
yeah,
I don't think that was them.
Yeah.
Was it?
yeah,
It
that
was.
was Naughty Dog.
Ratchet and Clank was not, but Jack and Daxter was.
Dude, Jack and Daxter deserves something. What?
Yeah, I always equate those two games, though. Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter are like the same game in my brain.
Yeah, me
most of the
too.
time.
Maybe that's why Jack and Dexter like bowed out and they decided to make something else. But which that something else, by the way, was Uncharted, and then later on, The
That
Last
was
of Us.
okay.
Totally
Yeah,
fine.
small indie game, which they're still saying that there might be a next Uncharted with his daughter. So we'll see if that comes to fruition too.
Yeah,
Lots of rumors, you know.
lots of rumors.
Definitely making a Last of Us multiplayer, though. That's
Yes,
confirmed.
that has been confirmed.
Well, come on. Is this not just proof that I don't think we're Sony fanboys, but just talking about Sony versus Xbox, it's just Sony, we talk with such like hope.
Yeah.
I am.
yeah, I'd
I'm
say
100%
I
a
am.
Sony fanboy.
My
But
Xbox
I'm not, like-
is over there unplugged just because I haven't had it on.
I'm not a
year.
Sony over Xbox fanboy. I just love games. I just am like, Xbox convinced me to go upstairs and play my Xbox. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm voting with my wallet, though. I've never bought I bought an Xbox once and then returned it immediately because I found out all my friends play PlayStation.
and if you're an Xbox gamer, we love you. Enjoy,
Xbox has some
playing
solid
by
stuff.
yourself.
enjoy
Enjoy
Halo,
And a Call of
Forza,
Duty.
Gears of War, and
Fortnite.
whatever else you got coming. You know what, man? You will be the talk of the town when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. Talk of the town. But
And
for
Starfield.
now,
And Starfield.
but for now, let's talk about Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 sells more than 1 million units in 3 days.
That's a
This
lot
is
of zombies.
George. This is George Yang at IGN. And furthermore, this stat's pretty crazy. Preston, grab this one for me. In-game stats were revealed detailing how many players did certain actions. Thus far, players have slayed 1.1 billion zombies, hacked
Yeah.
off 756 million zombie limbs, and sliced 45 million zombies in half. Additionally, players spent a combined total of 11 million hours with the game and collectively died 28 million times so far.
That's
That's
great
fun.
stats.
That's fun stats.
This makes me think of I got an email from the Diablo 4 guys, and it like told me, it was like, this is how many things you killed. This is how many times you died. And it was like, it was a lot. Like it was a way bigger numbers than I thought. And I just played the beta. So that's fun. It's always fun when you see that.
It seems like that game is doing well. Even, I don't know why, but I was just like, meh, Dead Island. I was really excited, and then I was like, this doesn't look like I'd...
Yeah, so I've heard a couple of reviews, and I haven't played it, so this is just all hearsay. I've heard that it took them so long to make its sequel, and what they did with this was just kind of like made it look better and maybe tweak the feel a little bit, but they really didn't add like a whole lot to make it like a new game.
Yeah.
And so if you're a fan of the old one, if you're just a general fan of like zombie killing games, then this is going to be a fun experience for you, but it's not going to blow anybody's minds. It's not going to stick around with you for a very long time.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. It's a very like C plus 7 out of 10 game across the board. And I think Metacritic has it at like a 74% right now.
Correct. I just pulled up Metacritic. It said a 74 on PlayStation 5 consoles. They always have different ones. This is just the first one that popped up. But like, I'm just going through here, and like PlayStation Universe like says, Dan Buster Studios has come in and created a highly entertaining cavalcade of carnage. It's a game that takes great joy in the simple act of smashing, splattering, and slicing the undead. Like great 985 review. But like if you go down it kind of is middling. It's like we talked about this earlier. Like it seems like a game that's just average, and that's okay. Not every game's gonna be
A 10 out of 10. Yeah.
and it doesn't always have to reinvent the wheel. We can have games that are just fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. I think, like, first off, a 74 is great. Like, that's totally passing.
It's
And
above average, yeah.
and I think just because a game doesn't get a 10 out of 10, it's not going to reflect its sales numbers. Like, it's doing well, like you said, Preston.
Yeah.
People love zombies.
People love killing zombies.
And I I feel like there was a bit of they overdid zombies, and then there was like no zombie games for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a zombie game again. Cool. We just needed a break.
Yeah.
I'll try it out. Goes
Yeah,
on
I think
sale.
I'll try it out on a sale. When it goes on sale, I think,
Or
for me.
it'll
Is
go
it-
on PlayStation Plus or something.
It's not multiplayer, huh?
Don't
Think so.
know. Let me look.
It could be co-op. I don't know. I'd be surprised if they didn't make it co-op. It seems like a fun game to be co-op.
Zombie games typically are more fun with friends.
Well,
Dead Island allows to play in multiplayer lobbies with up to 2 other people in a session.
cool. So it's cooperative.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool. Win for them.
Speaking of games getting sequels like Dead Island 2, surprise, Guerrilla Games pretty much confirms Horizon 3.
Nice.
This Stephen Tailby at Push Square. One sentence in an update that Horizon put out, speaking about what's next for the studio, has caught the attention of Horizon fans, which pretty much says we're making the next one without properly saying it. So it's a bit of a rumor, but they said this, and this is the full quote. We have full confidence in our new leadership as they steer Guerrilla towards a bright future. It reads, expanding the world of Horizon with Aloy's next adventure and our exciting online project.
So they're doing an online thing and a new game?
That's the
games,
way
yeah.
it sounds. That there's
Nice.
a one game that is Aloy's next adventure that expands the world.
Okay.
I wouldn't think another DLC in the same place would expand the world. I think it would be, they're making it sound like it would be something else. So that sounds like Horizon 3.
Yeah.
This
Did y'all play the other ones?
It's now on PS Plus. I played the first game. I have not played Forbidden West.
Gotcha.
Same.
It looks beautiful.
It does look beautiful.
I really liked the first game in premise. I really was bored by the story.
I couldn't. Aloy's pretty much a boring character for me. I don't know
It's
how
like
to
a
put that
Pandora
eloquently.
type feel.
What's that?
It reminds me of Pandora.
It does. Yeah. It's very much that like kind of like overgrown, lush, vibrant world. But robot dinosaurs is just a cool concept to me. I still think it's cool.
That's the thing. The mechanics were cool. Like it was so cool how you could if you defeated some of the robots, you could like essentially hack into them, and then you could make them do things for you, and you could like it was such a cool world and premise.
It's
But then
slow. That's my beef with it. That's
very slow.
the very, very slow and kind of boring story for most of it. There's some exciting parts for sure, but like it's gorgeous. Gameplay is really, really cool whenever there's action. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just slow. I think that's my biggest beef.
I probably got halfway through it if I were to look it up.
Same.
I think I should give this one a shot because I think if it fixed any of the problems, I'd probably really like it. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't think it's anything to do with her performance either. I think the voice of Aloy was okay. I think it was more the writing and direction side.
Yeah, I'd probably tend to agree with that. But so the online experience, do we have any kind of like guesses about what that might be? Is it going to be a multiplayer thing? I mean, if it's online, I would almost assume it's going to be like some kind of like multiplayer, but is it like a co-op experience? Is it a massively multiplayer thing?
Is it a card game?
Is it a card game?
Gosh, I have no guesses. I'm kind of trying to see if the internet has anything.
I think it would be cool. Maybe it's like an ARC situation where it's like multiplayer, but like more sequestered experiences.
That'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe. Do you think it's they're directly saying it's within Horizon, or are they saying it's possibly another game?
I
Because
think
like,
it's going to be in the same universe. I don't know if it'll be like you're playing Aloy.
I think here's my long shot guess.
Mm-hmm.
We know for a fact that Xbox is trying to acquire Activision Blizzard,
Mm-hmm.
which takes a pretty massive first person shooter off the table in terms of what PlayStation will no longer have access to Call of Duty, which means that PlayStation needs to focus on a first person shooter, which they don't have a lot of. But there's one game that stands out
You
that
think
Guerrilla
Horizon?
Game makes, and that's the Killzone.
Killzone. Okay.
I think that if PlayStation and Guerrilla Games came out with a battle royale Killzone online experience with also multiplayer, I don't, maybe not battle royale, maybe that's a long shot.
Battle Royale makes me cringe sometimes, man. Like we got enough of them.
But PlayStation is gonna want a competitor to. They're gonna want something, and maybe not battle royale. Maybe that's something they add later, like the most immersive first person, like single player experience, FPS game in forever, and then 6 months later the battle royale gets announced. Right? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I lost my train of thought on that already. Oh, so it was. What about Destiny? I always come back to Destiny when I think first person shooters. That's a great first person shooter game.
Mhm.
Like, is Destiny 3 or is it like Destiny like squads or whatever they want to call it, like some kind of Apex like or Battle Royale like or just straight up Call of Duty like Halo like clone essentially. I would love to have like an actual like just good fire squad.
That would be cool. Just
Another one made by Bungie.
for competition.
I mean,
alone.
shoot, Killzone could do that instead too. Like not a battle royale, but more of a still live service first. And shoot, if PlayStation's saying they're doing 10 different live service games, Guerrilla could be one of them.
Yeah, I think you have your Arc style like kind of game in the Horizon universe. You have the Bungie game. You also have the Killzone game. Like Guerrilla can make two of them. Yeah.
I think I just think Killzone's the obvious one. I think the people know the game. It has its old fans. And if you completely reinvent the series in the same way that God of War was, where it's like, yeah, it was a thing. It was liked. Like it just didn't have a cult following like we want it to.
Yeah.
I think that they could do it.
I played the most recent Killzone. I remember really enjoying it. So
Yeah. They were
More power
good
to 'em.
games. They just
When did
never
the
got the
last one come
popularity.
out?
PS3, I think.
It's been a while, like a long while.
The,
Right?
the first one was in 2004.
Does the PlayStation app have any of them for free?
I think Shadowfall was the most recent one, and on PS4 came out in 2013.
Yes.
So it's been a decade.
Dang.
It's a good game though.
Yeah, I could see it, and I bet some people listening to this are like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So that's my prediction.
It is free on PlayStation Plus.
Guys, it's fun to make predictions, even if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Which most of the time we will be.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're too casual. So, speaking of futuristic military shooters, but also mixed with fantasy, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Guys, there's spoilers out there. So this is a public service announcement straight from Dad Casual.
We're not giving spoilers, just to be clear.
So this is an EA tweet. So don't shoot the messenger. This comes from EA Star Wars. No spoilers. We're beyond excited for everyone to experience hashtag Star Wars Jedi Survivor this week. We ask that you please be mindful of others and avoid posting or sharing spoilers. And remember, BD1 is watching. And it's a great like clip of BD1 like tipping his head and looking right into the camera, like really up close. Yeah. So that actually makes me excited for the game.
Yeah, and just for clarification, at the time of recording, it's April 25th. I believe the game comes out April 28th. So by the time this episode's out, the game's probably going to be out.
Mm-hmm. And do we know the embargo when reviews?
I think IGN said they are doing one tomorrow.
Yeah, that makes sense. 2 days early.
Sorry, guys. You'll have to wait till after the game comes out for us to give our roundup of reviews, but we'll make sure to do that. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah, for sure. Andy, are you picking this one up?
I told Preston that I have to finish a certain number of edits before I get a game. Before I can get this game. Actually, he said he'd buy it for me if I could finish the edits.
There you go. Incentive. I love that. Positive reinforcement.
You got to get your work done, guys. Sometimes, and this comes from Tom Haverford, sometimes you got to work a little so you can ball a lot.
There you go. That's such a good quote.
He's full of good quotes.
Got to get them apps and zerts.
Don't be suspicious.
Apps and zerts. Yes.
Chicky chicky parm parm.
Yes.
What a great show.
Legendary. All right, what's next?
My favorite one of those is eggs, pre-birds, or post-birds. Because it's true. They're both. So Call of Duty's coming out with a board game. This is a lot of news. This is going to be a long episode, guys. Sorry. I thought this is kind of cool news. Call of Duty board game. There's totally a video, and that Preston already has queued up because he's awesome. This is made by Arcane Wonders, and this is the YouTube description by them. We're excited to announce the upcoming release of Call of Duty, the board game. This is going to be in Target for sure. This is going to buy like bananas probably. A thrilling new strategy game based on the popular video game franchise with intense combat, tactical planning, and stunning artwork featuring miniatures of iconic soldiers and weapons from the series. This game is sure to satisfy any Call of Duty fan. Keep an eye out for the Kickstarter launch in late summer 2023. I'm sorry.
I'll pick it up.
It is late. It is after 11 p.m., people. I'll be on too.
I will pick it up and try it.
And be among the first to experience this epic board game.
Yes.
That's cool. Did it mention like what kind of like style? Or is it reminiscent of like, is it like Catan or is it Monopoly?
The only thing we have, and I'll pull it up again. This is all we got.
Yeah, just a teaser, just an art teaser.
Yeah.
They showed box art.
That looks kind of like comic booky, which I like.
In the thumbnail, there was box art. I'm trying to get that to load.
Okay, I'll pull it up.
Coming soon.
Yeah, that's all I got. Let's see. See if I can.
It's been a while since I played like a good, like just not standard board game or tabletop or card game or something like that.
Oh, you should come over. I have so many. You can see it. Oh, you can't see it in my thing, but I've got a wall
over your shoulder there. Yeah.
What is the minimum cost? You need
$50.
Oh man, I bet for the Kickstarter,
expect the collector's edition to start around $100.
Yeah.
Yep. Not surprised.
That's where they're going to start it. So it's going to start at $100.
I think it's going to be a tactical miniature game. I think you're going to be able to move around behind cover. I think you're going to be able to have like line of sight with shooting. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yep.
That would make sense.
And I bet there's going to be a competitive way, and I bet there's going to be a cooperative like fire team like I bet the main game will be Fireteam based, where it's almost like a dungeon crawler board game where you're going through trying to beat the squads and the teams, and you get ambushed and you have to work together, and you have someone has medic abilities and somebody has other things. It depends on what gear you have. I think it could be cool.
So just FYI, the Kickstarter version is going to be that collector's edition, and you can play up to 4 players plus additional content. And then in their facts, they asked somebody, or one of the questions is, will this game be available later in retail? Yes, we will release the game in our retail after our Kickstarter backers have received their copies. This will not be the collector's edition, however, and will start with the core 2-player experience. It can later be expanded.
Oh, okay. 2-player, huh? 2-player board game. You don't see a lot of those.
I have a bunch.
Really?
I love my 2-player games.
I'm so out of that world. Just like board game to me equals like family event or like group of friends event.
It's such a good married one-on-one with your spouse event. I love it.
Yep.
Okay.
I was going to play games tonight, but this.
Of the games I know that Arcane Wonders have made is Mage Wars. That's a pretty popular one. Air, Land, and Sea. There's literally like, I think there's 3 of those games. Literally, there's Air, Land, and Sea.
Makes sense.
See what is that? Axis and Allies? No, maybe I don't know. Aquatica. I don't know that one. Good Critters. Preston, you and I played that one at PAX.
Oh yeah,
that was the one where we were like the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
taking money.
It was fun. Preston likes games where you like you win by hustling money.
Yes, and puzzle games. Those are my 2 favorite games. That's why I love GTA. You're doing both.
Yeah. So a few games I've heard of and played maybe, but cool. I love it.
Yeah.
A few, just one more news. This isn't a big news, but I think it was. This is one that got me, which is why I'm going to talk about it. Diablo 4 did a surprise final beta announcement. It's going to be Mother's Day weekend from May 12th through 14th. They're calling it Server Slam. Like I don't know, precedence. It's the wrestling term. Yeah, maybe you'll play. This is directly from Blizzard Entertainment. It's a full quote unquote version of the game with the expected legendary drop rates. Like in the previous beta, like they gave you all the cool stuff, and this one's going to be like, no, this is going to be a lot like the launch. They're really testing before the real game comes out. They're lowering the max level to level 20. But everything else is the same. And they said if you can beat the world boss named Ashava during the 3 days, then you get an exclusive mount trophy. But that's going to be hard because Ashava's level 25, and all players will be capped at level 20. So it'll be a difficult thing to achieve, but you'll get a pretty cool trophy reward. That at first I thought was like a full-on horse, like mount. It's just like a giant tooth that hangs from your horse. To show that you did it. It looks like you killed the thing and you kept a trophy.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Anyway, so kind of cool. It's gonna be it's totally free to play. It's the full game with all characters enabled as is May 12th through 14th, but progress does not carry over. So if you play and then you buy the game in June, it'll all be wiped. So it's a good chance to just try it if you've thought about trying it.
Yeah, I had fun on our last beta experience.
Can we all play together?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Can I beat y'all?
It's
co-op.
So I won't lose to y'all is what you're saying.
This is true.
Correct. I mean, if you want to play for an hour or something, I'll try. I want to try like one of the classes I didn't try yet to see if I want to play them.
Let's do it.
I'd be down if you're down. It's Mother's Day weekend though, so that's kind of a hard time to justify gaming.
Why? You can be like, hey, you want to go be with the kids and be a mom?
Yeah,
I'll
be
let
a
you.
mom. Happy Mother's Day.
My gift to you
Is these
honey.
kids.
Treasure.
You sleep on the couch.
So we've probably gone pretty long. I think we'll go straight into dad talk, and then we'll kind of wrap up. Do you guys have anything to talk about being a dad right now? And I know.
Yeah, I'll say this: getting out of a routine with a toddler is the worst thing in the world.
Getting out of routine?
Yep, it sucks. Like, it may just be our family. I don't know. I'm a pretty routine person. Christine is very routine, and Rhett, our son, is in that too because he's ours. When Easter break happened, the dude turned into a hellion. Like, it was bad. He was.
Did you break a lot of normal routine rules?
No, he just wasn't at school, and it changed. Like, he became much more defiant. He was, he just wasn't in his normal routine. So,
yeah.
I mean, even tonight, Andy, you and your wife Michelle invited us to come celebrate a birthday dinner, and Christine and I talked about it, and we were like, he's doing so well again. I don't want to break the routine.
That's totally fine.
And yeah, it was rough, actually. It was pretty crappy because he would like scream and throw. He started throwing stuff at one point, and I was like, what is happening? And
Crazy
so,
kids.
yeah. But now he's back into his normal routine and going to bed on time again, and it took just
we had a rough
days,
time too.
So
we had a rough time too with Easter break was just it's just hard, man. And for us it's the cabin fever of it all.
Yeah.
They think they want to be home, but they don't want to be home that long. They want to go out. They get bored. They want to do things. And I'm like, guys, I have work. I have things I need to do. Like there's a part of life that you're just not used to, which is chores. Like, and we do those things for the most part when you're not home, while you're at school or while you're asleep.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think too, like TV time was more than normal for Red at least. And so that, man, taking away or turning off a TV, they are not happy if they're used to it. And I'm like, this is weird. You've been watching TV for 6 hours.
When they were home, we work from home. And like, I know that like you would laugh because like I'd have like the neighbor kids would come in and play with my kids and they'd go over to their house. But like that was an alternative to them being on the TV.
Tablets or TV.
So it's like, I almost was like, you know what? I'd rather, as long as they're not yelling and screaming, which sometimes they did and I had to crack down on, at least they're going outside a lot and they're playing and swinging and throwing the ball around or whatever. Like I was okay with it. Even though it felt overwhelming to be like, oh my gosh, kids keep coming in and out of my house. But they're my next door neighbors, and I don't know. It was also nice as opposed to this. And we took as soon as Easter ended too. Like we allowed a little pad time. We took that away. Those haven't come out since Easter.
Man, iPads are the devil for kids.
I think so too, man. It's like the worst. I don't. In like my logical brain says like, yeah,
it's just like TV.
just like a TV. They'll watch a few episodes or whatever, and then I'll take it away. It'll be It is significantly worse than TV, and couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Is it like the interactive nature of it? Maybe like a game.
I think with the iPad, the close proximity of it, the rest of the world disappears, and they don't hear, see, feel anything. It's just that's their whole world. And I feel like when my kids watch TV,
they're doing
they'll play with Legos, they'll play with a toy, they'll do flips on the couch. It's like there's sensory things going on, and they're not as engrossed. As well as we don't allow YouTube at all on the TV, but we have YouTube Kids on the iPads, and YouTube Kids is far more like grabbing your attention than like Bluey on Disney Plus or you know, Noah likes watching Naruto now. That's the new thing he's really into. And which is maybe sometimes a question, is it too grown up? I watch it, but it's not nearly as bad for him, I think, as YouTube. And I think I want to get rid of the iPads, like for real.
Yeah. Rhett gets to watch it when we travel. Mainly.
I think I even want to get rid of it for that.
Yeah.
Just Naruto gets pretty adult at some points. Not necessarily like sexually, that kind of thing, but just it gets with the killing and the graphicness and
correct. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, a lot of death.
Like I'm not seeing like blood and gore, but I am seeing
there's a good bit of
serious
blood, yeah, but there's a
Stop.
lot of like serious death scenes.
It's more like the serious theme of the show. It starts out not that way.
No, it's very happy-go-lucky at the beginning.
And it's getting pretty serious. So I'm kind of, he's 9. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're all just learning.
Not a Disney movie.
No.
It's good to talk about with him though.
Absolutely. I think it's a great show for most ages. Yeah. With us, since we were traveling, Josephine travels super well for all things considered. But there's always like the traveling with a kid is not vacation, even if you do fun things.
Yep.
And I think that counts for anybody. But then also like with Josephine's like sleep issues, like a couple of nights she was up till midnight or 2:00 or whatever, and that was not a whole lot of fun. And the day of my wife's race, she woke up at 2:30 a.m. and did not go back to bed. My wife had to be up at 6:30 to get to her race on time, and we had to drive to downtown Nashville on like 5 hours of sleep. Actually, less than 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was a challenge. And so I know it's not the same as like the whole spring break thing, but traveling always puts us out of routine. Especially Josephine, like she takes like a full 2 days to kind of get used to wherever we're going.
Yep.
Yeah, they say, what is the phrase? Vacationing with kids isn't a vacation. It's just watching your kids with new scenery or something.
Yeah, it's watching your kids in different places. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want that to be true, and not every trip does that feel that way, but some trips it has. Like, I sympathize with you. Like, sometimes it just feels like, oh man, like, I don't know. But
for as much like of a hassle as it is, she really does enjoy like being outside and being in new places and kind of exploring. And so there was a ton of that as well.
Cool.
A lot of like we went to an adaptive, like a very inclusive, disability wise, like kids park. That was really cool. That had like wheelchair accessible amenities for pretty much every attraction there. There was like a little teeter-totter thing. There was like a sit and spin, but one that you could like either stand up in or you could roll a wheelchair into. There was a full-on wheelchair swing, which we couldn't figure out how to operate, but it was there. This park had like zip lines too. It was crazy. Like it was like the most advanced like kids park I've ever seen in my life. It was crazy. Very, very cool.
That's cool.
Sounds like a real city with real attractions.
That was actually in a suburb. That was in Hendersonville, where our friends live.
Whoa!
But still, yeah,
that's awesome.
Very, very expensive looking place.
Yeah.
I do know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't St. Jude in Tennessee?
Yeah. So the race was a St. Jude charity.
Jude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I could definitely see a lot of disabilities in Tennessee, like is among children. So
yeah, like being accepting and like forward and supportive of those things.
And so therefore, like their park system and their stuff are gonna think about that. Like,
oh yeah, it seems very, very much so.
Very front of mind. So maybe that all adds up. That's cool.
That is cool. Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for, I think, another great discussion. I hope this next week is great. I'm excited to get the reviews for Star Wars tomorrow. I'm definitely, and maybe I'll pick it up. I got to finish these edits. I really do. So I'm going to work on some things. Guys, if you have any questions for us, topics, things you're like, man, you guys really botched that discussion about Killzone. Hey, man, you guys like anything. You know what I mean? Like, write it to us. Give us a tweet. You know, when are we going to get our first hate mail? Come on. Bring it.
Let's do it.
Like us, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And as always, you guys stay frosty. I don't know what I'm saying. Bye, guys. This is Dad Casual.